contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko. Vuyo, welcome to AM News. I mean, this is one of the ANC's important weeks since the dawn of democracy in South Africa.
Well, probably the most important week was, you'll recall that a couple of days ago, the ANC held its meeting of the National Executive Committee, which is that group of leaders that basically look at all the important issues, take all the important decisions of this organization. And this being an election year, they had to have that last meeting before they unveil their manifesto, which in essence is going to be the set of priorities, the set of issues that the ANC believes is what should shape South Africa going forward. But at the same time, it was the week in which the ANC was celebrating its 102 years birthday. In other words, a day, the 8th of January, that is a day each year the ANC uses to give its troops, so to speak, the marching orders for the year. So it was indeed the most important week of the year.
Now, just taking us through the Election Manifesto, what is on the program for the weekend? Just kindly take us through the weekend's program.
Well, this evening, ANC President Jacob Zuma will address a gala dinner where he will give some hints or a broad, if you like, sense of what is going to be contained in the manifesto. The manifesto itself will be unveiled tomorrow morning at a rally that's going to be held here in Nelspruit in Mpumalanga at the Mbombela Stadium. So this evening, really a group of leaders as well as interested stakeholders, among them business people, international solidarity forces, as well as other people and constituencies of civil society that the ANC believes are close to them or should, at the very least, get a hint of what is coming up. So President Jacob Zuma, the ANC in his capacity as ANC president, will give that sort of broad strokes address this evening to give a sense of what is going to be contained in the manifesto, but also a sense of what are the priorities of the ANC for the year, after which tomorrow morning, that is, as I've said, they will unveil that manifesto.
And politically, Vuyo, can you forecast perhaps context that we can expect from the announcement, of course, from the ANC president with regards to the ANC's election manifesto? Any contents with which you feel that perhaps South Africans can expect?
Well, I mean, the ANC itself has been a bit cagey over the past week about the contents of that manifesto, everyone deferring to ANC President Jacob Zuma, who will unveil the manifesto formally tomorrow. But the sense we are getting from people like Gwede Mandasha, whom I interviewed yesterday as well, but also from other leaders of the ANC, is that first and foremost is the issue of jobs and the economy. In other words, the ANC has to give a very clear indication of how it's going to approach the jobs crisis that's gripping the nation at the moment. And the sense one gets is that there's an acknowledgement that things haven't gone as smoothly and as fast and as meaningfully as the ANC would have wished. Obviously, they will then have to say, beyond that point, that what it is that they have to say, this is what we intend doing. But perhaps add to that why they have not been able to do that over the past year or over the past couple of years. Now, they know that that is perhaps one of their Achilles heel, if you like, because the ANC faithful, as much as they are loyal and faithful to their organizations, they want those jobs because they want to put bread on their table, they want to educate their children, and they want to do everything that normal people should be doing. But on the other hand, there's organizations that have been growing year on year and or election after election, and that is organizations or parties like the Democratic Alliance, which are looking at exploiting the weaknesses of the ANC, and chief among those is the issue of jobs. There are new kids on the block like the EFF who think they know the ANC, who may perhaps be better placed than other people to exploit its weaknesses. Whether, of course, they will be able to do that after the election remains a moot point. So the ANC in itself has to put on the table something that will, on the one hand, pacify its faithful, and on the other, be able to ward off whatever challenges that are coming from the opposition. But there are other issues, like, for example, the Nkandla issues, there are issues of corruption, there are issues of poverty, and so on. So the manifesto has to speak to those issues. Whether what they will be saying tomorrow will strike a chord among the electorate remains to be seen.
Now, Vuyo, speaking of other political parties, we do know that the Freedom Front Plus has continuously asked the president what changes he plans to make within the constitution. During the ANC's campaigns and rallies, was there any indication of what the president aims to change within the constitution?
Well, incidentally, that question was asked yesterday at the media briefing, which was addressed by ANC Secretary General Gwede Mantashe. And the point he made, which is probably an instructive point, although things are not as simple as that, but the point he made is that over the past 4 or so years, there have been a lot of changes that actually touch on constitutional issues. And those have been done and they have been passed through in Parliament without perhaps a lot of people making a lot of noise about that. In other words, the point he was making is that there are perhaps no fundamental issues that the ANC would want to change in the Constitution. But having said that, I think that even if the ANC wanted to change certain things in the Constitution, that is not something they would be saying now. Because, obviously, its opponents would want to exploit that for what it's worth. So they wouldn't say. We know that there are frustrations around the land issue, and you will recall that the land issue is one of the top 5 priorities, the priorities that ANC President Jacob Zuma calls the apex priorities. So the land issue is an issue there. Now, whether the ANC would want to temper perhaps with the Constitution to address that issue is what is a subject of speculation at the moment. But my take is that that is not really the issue, because the Constitution does provide for appropriation, for example, where it is deemed necessary. And the ANC government hasn't even gone there. In other words, the ANC government hasn't been able to even do what is permissible and what the Constitution allows it to do. So why would they want to go and tamper with the Constitution? And when they haven't been able to exploit everything that is constitutionally available or allowable.
All right, contributing editor Vuyo Mvoko from Nelspruit, coming to us, of course, from Nelspruit. Thank you so much for joining us and contributing to us. Thank you.